All right, guys. So Master of Command has a brand new gameplay trailer right now. If you don't know what this is a roguelike strategy game which has a layer of campaign gameplay where you maneuver your army around a map of Europe and a tactical sort of kind of real-time movement of armies through specific regions where you get to interact with villages, towns, enemy scouts, enemy armies to basically try and find their encampment and destroy them. And it's all kind of layered with objectives, with army and regiment management, and including things like, uniform customization, color schemes, skills, officers trees, development trees, all that jazz, and a tactical 3D battle layer as well, which now it looks absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do today is go through this gameplay trailer, and I have a lot of other kind of images that we can go through as well about mechanics and various other bits that actually the gameplay trailer doesn't go through either. It should be really interesting. By the end, I think you're going to be kind of curious to know more about this. And if you are, I've dropped a link below to the Discord server where you can check out more about what's going on, latest development updates. I've dropped a link also to the Steam page where you can wishlist the game. That's probably the best way to support it at the moment. It does look really good. I would say, as an indie developed roguelike strategy, campaign battle style game, essentially, it's not quite a Total War competitor, but there are various elements here that do make me very excited about what's being developed, what's being delivered to players who are kind of looking forward to a kind of Empire or Napoleon sequel in Total War and have been waiting for a long time. This is probably the closest thing we're going to get to that. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's dive straight in.
War is upon us, General.
So we have to pause here because this looks absolutely wild. When you look at a Total War game, an average army is probably 1,000 to 2,000, maybe 3,000 soldiers per army, right? Maximum. Because Total War graphics are so intensive and processing intensive, it's very difficult to get large scale and, in fact, realistic scaled battlefields, right? This here in Master of Command, because the graphics are obviously less intensive, you can go huge in scale, massive numbers of soldiers per unit, must be in the hundreds here per unit here, especially those reserves in the back, but also huge scale battles. So you can have like 16, 20, 25, 30 unit armies here attacking each other, each one with 500, 600 soldiers, I imagine. So you can get into the tens of thousands of soldiers on a battlefield. It's absolutely huge in scale. And, there's a lot more going on here. Obviously, assets look really good. The farmland, trees, the shadows look really good. You've got the kind of battlefield scars of cannon fire, the smoke effects, the visual effects generally, the clouds overhead. There's a lot, really, really good stuff going on here. And it's a huge improvement compared to where the game first started last year with 2D sprites and 2D kind of view from an overhead perspective. You can zoom in quite close here as well as you'll see later in the trailer, but it just looks really, really good. It means you have a lot more camera options, maneuverability. You have a lot more tactical options as an army as well. The bigger the scale, the more you can flank around, maneuver, have different types of elevation, all that jazz. So it looks really, really good so far. Let's move on.
And you must take command on the field.
So there you go. Like I said, you can get quite up close and personal. This is the Highland Guard, I think, front and center with the British Army. And, they look really good. I think uniforms are customizable, flags customizable, color schemes, all of that very customizable when it comes to individual units within regiments. Looks really, really good up close and personal as well. I really like it. I really like the skybox in the background as well. Often skyboxes are a little bit overlooked, but, I like the whole kind of realistic clouds, the lovely blue of the sky, the trees that are kind of blurring out as you go further and further out into the background. Everything here looks picture perfect to me.
There's no second chance. Orders must be given.
Right, so got to pause it here. Kind of classic Total War style UI, which I really like. I think Total War UI got it right, from the first place. You've got the units and the unit screen on the bottom with, the regiments, their officers. Each regiment rather gets, I think, 4 units. From what I can see, each unit is very unique as well. Unique uniforms, weapons, color schemes, like I said. They get their own flags. So lots of customization as well from an officer perspective as well, as you can see here. They have their ability buttons underneath, retreat, throw grenades, melee mode, all of that. And yeah, you've got the general portrait top left, you've got the map and the time kind of options top right, and you've got the faction power at the very top of the screen as well, which just shows you how much progress you've made in your battlefield, how much more you need to grind out, the war of attrition maybe, or how quickly you're defeating the enemy, depending on the units that you have deployed, the tactics you're deploying as well. Lots of really, really good stuff here. I really like it. It just gives me again another sense of the scale, the kind of different variety you're going to go through from a battlefield perspective. This is obviously a snowy terrain, so seasonal effect versus the one we saw before, which looks a bit more summery, warmy, hot. Looks really good. Also, obviously, you can tell the kind of health bar numbers for these units. I think the blue is morale, maybe. So when it goes down to a lower bar, things are a little kind of not as effective. The lower these kind of morale bars go down, the more maybe likely they are to retreat and break. And you've got the green, the yellow on the unit cards as well. I think the yellow is probably ammo. But yeah, everything here looks really cool as well.
Clearly.
150 historical units is a pretty big deal. If you don't know, there are 5 playable factions, which means 30 historical units per faction. And these are proper historical units. I'm not just throwing this out there. They're not just saying this. They are deeply researched, grounded in reality, their names, their uniforms, at least their starting uniforms, because like I said, you can customize that, add different types of equipment and color schemes and all that jazz. So there's a lot that you can do here. The number of units per faction means a lot of replayability, a lot of different types of rosters you can put together per faction as well. And each of these come with their own strengths and weaknesses, abilities, tactical kind of capabilities and options. There's a lot that you can do here. 150, I think, is a really, really good number. Let's move on.
Timing, position, and discipline will decide the day. Before a single
Right. So like I said, we've got this kind of regiment view, army kind of camp view, which lets you customize your officers, their abilities, their skills, their uniforms, what they're doing, what they're up to. You've got your kind of general, army general, top left, Ferdinand of Brunswick, Wolfenbüttel. I hope I pronounced that right. But he's got these ability skills. He's got, a pool of resources to be able to recruit, ammo count, food, supplies, money to sustain the army, to recruit or buy new equipment, all of that jazz. So it looks really, really good. You've got these regimental color designers. You can design the flags, the color scheme of the uniforms. All of that looks really, really good. You've got equipment in the bottom left that you can see per unit, and you can customize the unit's name, what they're wearing, what they use. You've got loads of different types of equipment bottom right here as well, which looks really good. So as you fight your battles, or as you approach a town maybe that you discover on the campaign map, you can access new types of equipment, or have an event that you decide to do to get different types of equipment as well, depending on what you do. So lots and lots and lots of just interesting variability, layers of gameplay and mechanics here that are just kind of coming together in this way. I really like what I see here.
shot is fired, your work begins. Arming the men, equipping them for the road ahead. Supplies, uniforms, and standards are yours to set. 5 nations march to war, each with its own command.
So yeah, like I said, there are 5 factions to play with. Within them, 3 starting armies each that you can choose, and you'll have to unlock the other 2 armies, I think, depending on, successful campaigns with your initial armies. 5 factions. You've got Prussia, the Habsburg monarchy, Russia, Britain, and France. Each of them come with their own sort of, traits and interesting kind of bonuses, depending on the units that they start with, maybe the army that you start with as well. So Britain and Hanover, for example, starts with a subsidy of $5 daily, reserves available at settlements minus 25%. They're highly disciplined, flexible army, few in number, poor cavalry. You can unlock other armies as well, but this starting army is the British expedition, which, has a little bit of tidbit here, a little summary, a little context. Thin red line is the kind of trait of this army. So each army comes with its own sort of characteristic and trait. Units gain double the experience in drilling stance. So you clearly have different types of stances as well. Starting resources, abilities, skills, starting units as well. British Light Dragoons, British Foot, Highland Foot. The general is Granby. So lots of interesting kind of starting options depending on the army that you want to go for, the faction you want to go for. Again, all lending itself to lots more replayability, gameplay options in the campaign and in the battles.
Customs and doctrine.
And then here we can stop a little bit and talk about, in the campaign layer, in the larger kind of European campaign layer, you're moving an army from region to region to, complete a mission, an objective, defeat an army, gain access to different types of resources or units, experience, obviously, as well. All of that matters. But within that region, you essentially travel from area to area, city or village to, scouting position, mountain, kind of lowlands, and, reaching and engaging scouts, armies, etc. Within the villages or cities that you visit, though, you can obviously get access to supplies that you can buy or units that you can recruit. Maybe you can heal units that have been damaged from a previous engagement. So there's a lot that you can do. Or church, I'm guessing, maybe ups your morale if you stay there for a little bit as well, and kind of prepare for the next big battle that's coming up. So there is a lot that you can do here. There's a lot you can buy. I'm guessing each village has access to different types of buildings maybe as well that aren't shown here. So there's a lot to see here essentially.
You'll cross villages and forests.
And that's what I'm talking about. So you get to move across this region individually with your army, and you can visit, Luckenwalde and have kind of access to maybe an objective that they give you that gives resources, get access to their church, their recruitment center, all of that. But maybe if instead of you go to this village, you go right to the forest, you might, encounter, some supplies that you can kind of pick up through a little event that you decide what to do with. So yeah, lots of things that you can do here essentially.
Back roads and battlefields. Supplies will dwindle. The men will tire. And
this is a good place to stop as well. Interesting kind of development tree in terms of your units. So you can go from royal recruits to, for example, volunteer fusiliers to volunteer provincial cavalry to dragoons, or you can go from royal recruits to Irish fusiliers to Irish grenadiers. There's lots of options in terms of where all of this can go, what you need depending on what you already have in your army, and what you want to have access to. Maybe you want to try this new unit that you've never tried before, and you're fighting against, if you're the French, you're fighting the British, and you need more cavalry. So yeah, all of this matters. All of this is really cool to see as well. Lots of customization, which is really, really cool.
yet, you must press on. If you make it far enough, you'll raise more than a division. You'll raise an army.
And then let's just pause it here for a second as well. You've got 5 individual regiments, fully kitted out army here. I've noticed that Cole has a supply wagon, so maybe you need to attach a supply wagon to a particular regiment for that regiment to protect in a battle, which is another kind of interesting tactical layer. Each of these officers have traits as well that they've gained through battle. De Chever clearly has gotten a maimed trait, which, so yeah, traits can be positive or negative depending on what's happened, what they've experienced. Your head general can get traits or objectives, kind of focuses, doctrines. You've got other kind of reserve, maybe officers and infantry units here as well. I'm not sure. Or maybe, yeah, I'm not sure what these are top right, but that would be my guess. You've got these stats per unit, lots of equipment here. There's just so much going on here that I like to see. Lots of customization as well. Each of these flags look very unique, giving you that kind of like personalization, giving you that attachment and connection to these units that you've kept alive. All these units have these levels as well within these stars. All of them are level 9. So the higher the level, the more experience, the more maybe access to different types of equipment, skills, all that jazz. So looks really, really interesting.
Just be sure you can hold it together. Strategize. Survive.
And the last thing that I want to mention here, we're getting to the end of the trailer, is, with 3D in these battles, there is a massive, huge difference in terms of animation and visual effects and sound effects. And, you can actually see how this charging maneuver is happening, how the gunfire is happening, and then the reload animations. Like, it makes a huge, huge difference from that perspective going from 2D to 3D. So, yeah, I love the scale of it. I love the immersion, the engagement with the player visually. It looks really, really good. And there you have it, guys. So this is Master of Command. This is the latest gameplay trailer that was released a few days ago on the weekend. It looks really good, really crisp. The 3D battles look brilliant. I mean, the mechanical improvements, developments, the customization, the 150 historical units, the 5 playable factions, 3 armies each. There's so much that is personalizable, customizable. There's a lot of variety. I think a lot of replayability. The gameplay loop, I think, is going to be very interesting as a roguelike tactical strategy game that has a campaign layer of progression in this kind of historically grounded reality and situation, warring states, and kind of has that battle layer as well. That looks really interesting and fun, tactical, huge in scale. There is a lot of really good stuff here, especially, improvement, development progress since the game was first announced last year. So I'm very excited about what I see here. This video is essentially just an analytical breakdown of my thoughts, my comments on what the video shows. Like I said, if you're interested in watching the whole thing yourself, I've dropped a link below in the video description. If you're interested in what you see and you'd like to learn more as well, I've dropped a link to the Discord server and the Steam page where you can wishlist the game. And, that's probably the best way you can support it at this moment. And that's essentially it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, give it a like, drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below, and let me know what you think about Master of Command, this gameplay trailer, everything I've talked about today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.